Hello one and all, I am Pal of Games and welcome to a deck profile for the Dododos. So if you guys have got any sort of improvements, queries or anything like that, leave it in the comments and I will discuss them if I haven't already here. So straight away I'm just going to list what there is and then why I've got it in there. So 3 Dodo Gasser, 3 Radox, 3 Dododo Warrior, 3 Dododo Buster, 1 Dododo Bot, 3 Giant Rat, 3 Dododo Witch, 2 Summoner Monk, 1 Reinforcement of the Army, 3 Shallow Grave, 1 Dark Hole, 1 Gold Sarcophagus, 1 Book of Moon, 3 Book of Eclipse, 1 Bottomless Trap Hole, 2 Mirror Forces, 2 Dimensional Prisons, 1 Compulsory, and 3 Fiendish Chain. So, on to the actual main deck and why it's what it is. So straight away, the combo most of the time will be Gasser and Witch. That is your combo most of the time. There is other combos like the Dododo Buster combo. I don't think I've showed it off in a video. I might try and do that at a later point. But to discuss what his effect is, it's quite a self-explanatory one, which is when he's flip summoned. I mean, you have to purposely do it yourself. It gains 3,500 attack. When this is flip face up, you can just target up to 2 face up monsters on the field, destroy them targets. I think he's a really good card. He's just not very used or executed very well, which I feel I've tried to do to the best of the deck's ability currently. But, you know, there could still be some more support coming from them, which I'd like to see. You've got Radox, which I think is pretty sort of a known thing. I mean, if you're running a full Earth deck, you might as well run Radox. He's a nice way of getting out gas for you to use other combos like Book of Moon and such. But I feel that you've got to use him anyway. I mean, it's a great card just for if it's in the grave. You can just, you know, sort of have it as a surprise attack at the end of a game like I did in the last video I did for it, I believe. I mean, I'm pretty sure it was in that video. Yeah, I think it was. Dododo Warrior is a card which is sort of just a filler more than anything else. And it's a way of comboing with Buster also. He's a quite nice card. I like the effect of if it attacks, it negates all effects in the graveyard until the end of a damage step. So stuff like Gardener doesn't get to activate its effect, which is a really helpful effect in my opinion. You've then got Buster, which is a great card in terms of you can have it quite a lot of flexibility with him. Because you can special summon it from your hand if your opponent controls a monster you don't. It becomes a level 4, so you've got level 4 possibilities here. Or, you know, you can special it, tribute summon it for another Dododo Buster. Bring back the original with its effect, which is when it's tribute summon, you can target one Dododo in your grave. And special summon it, that targeting face-up defense. That's quite a great combo to go into straight level, well I should say a rank 6. Quite helpful there. I run 1 bot. I feel 1's just right. I would run 1 just so that it gives Witch an extra target, and it can go into a quick 4. I mean, you might not want to use him at all. That's a fair enough comment, to be fair. I mean, it's not the greatest of cards, but I feel it's nice to have just 1 in there. It also, if I mean, it comes a dead card in your hand and your witches aren't available, you can always just use it as food for Radox. Then you've got 3 Giant Rat, which its main purpose is to bring out Witch. So it's like having another way. It's almost like, I would say it's like having 6 witches, but it's not, because obviously it's quite self-reliant on having to be destroyed by battle. But if you pull it off correctly, yeah, which is quite helpful in itself, just being able to search out. Sometimes you'll end up with quite a few gases in your hand, not having them witches in it being quite infuriating. So I feel Giant Rat was a card I just thought, hey, you know, I would make the deck quite a lot more consistent. I do hope that they keep the effect as special summoned, because I don't think is it in the TCG now? I'm not sure. I could just look now. I'm pretty sure it's not, but I could be wrong. No, it's not yet. So it has a chance to change, unfortunately. Then we've got 2 Summoner Monk. You run quite a few spells here. You run 10. So it gives you another way of bringing out Witch. That's the main purpose I've sort of tried to build up. was to try and get as many ways of getting out of a witch as possible, because that's what your main engine is. I mean, you've just got a problem trying to make sure you have Gasser in hand, but you know, it shouldn't be too tricky. You then got your reinforcement. It's another way of getting out of witch. That's what I've tried to work around as much as possible. As many chances of getting witch as, you know, humanly possible. There might be a few other cards you could do this with, but I'm not sure. Free Shallow Grave, I just thought it'd be a nice card to put in there. It lets you get Gasser if, you know, you've got some engraved. And it's also a nice target for Summon a Monk if that's not something you want to do, because it would give the opponent too much of an advantage based on their graveyard, or if you've just not got the target to do so. Dark Hole, pretty self-explanatory. Gold Sarcophagus, I'm running a dragon, so it's more or less like a norm really that you do that. Book of Moon, great way of getting gas to defense. Also, obviously, it's just a nice card to have as a counter to most decks. Then I'll run free Book of Eclipse. This is a bit of an interesting one. I mean, it's like a really nice version of Book of Moon. I mean, it does have a bit of a consequence to it that, you know, they get to flip the face down and draw one for each at the end. But if they're running, say they're using like Lightsworn and they're sort of short on cards, that's a good way of doing it. As well as like, it sort of shuts down the XYZ plays. Or, you know, you could just say have one Gasser on the field, say they've not even got a field, and it just works still. So that's quite helpful. And for traps, we've got a Bottomless Trap Hole. I just think you should. 2 Mirror Force. I mean, it's more or less quite a defensive trap section. I mean, you're going to get the idea of why they're there, really. I feel it's just gives you a nice way of slowing down the opponent while you work up towards your Witch plays and your Gasser plays. So for extra deck, I run one Constellar Ptolemy, is that? M7? I'm not sure how the pronunciation is of that card. But either way, you know, it's obviously for the Dodo Buster play. I mean, it can make even more combos by, you know, using its effect to return a Buster to hand and just really trying to abuse that effect. One Photon Strike Bouncer, which will probably be one of your main plays. Here's another 6. And a Line Monster Chariot Hisha, which I'm quite a fan of. I mean, I haven't seen a lot of play from it outside of it. It does have a little consequence to it that, you know, all battle damage inflicted to your opponent is halved during the turn you activate its effect. Its effect being that you can target one set spell or trap as well as one face-up monster and destroy both targets, which I feel is really advantageous if you're versing a deck, say Gravekeepers or Blackwings or something along them lines. Can be quite helpful. One Vylon de Sigma, you can get some pretty clever special summon plays out, so, you know, I feel it's worth it, and sometimes it can be a real game changer. One Blade Armor Ninja, one Photon Paleoperative, I should say, Heroic Champion Gandiva, which I feel can be a really annoying card versus some decks. Say, for instance, Blackwings, that's a good example, or Gravekeepers. Just a couple of examples there of decks this deck can really perform well against. Even Lightsworn, you know, because obviously Lumina's quite limited without that effect being able to go ahead. Then you've got one Black Shippercorn. I feel that's pretty staple in there. I think you should run that if you're running level 4s. It just gets rid of some of that annoying stuff they can spring at you sometimes. Heroic Champion Excalibur, it can be a really nice way of dealing with stuff. Say they've just brought out, going back to Lightsworn's Judgment Dragon, you say booked it that turn, your turn comes, you can just bring out a surprise play with Excalibur and just take him out. One Diamond Direwolf, quite another self-explanatory card. You know, it's just really nice at just taking out something what's just been pestering the game all for quite a while, or just even they've just brought out a nice wall or something. Zenmeister was quite an interesting one. I realised that his effect could really abuse Gas's effect also. When you read that, you know, you can detach one material, change a monster to face down defense. It's like having another Book of Moon. Except on top of that, the end phase, it changes it to face-up attack, so it almost already, you know, self-activates and gives you a really good advantage in that position. One Maestro, I mean, it's a good blocker there if you're just still another way, just like traps really, that you're there to try and make sure you can last as long as possible to get them gasser plays going. Because sometimes you can just get not a great hand and them plays aren't available straight off, so you've got to have quite a lot of support to be able to sort of just hold off for a bit. One Gusto Emerald, I feel it's great for just sort of cycling back your witches or your gassers if needed, and it just really helps for consistency, I feel. Then we've got one Abyss Dweller. I mean, dragons obviously are going to still be a thing, so it's worth playing it just for that sake alone, but there's a lot of other decks what can rely on the graveyard, so it's always worth playing, I feel. And Go Cowboy, which I think is almost a staple really, because the amount of games I've played where that 800 damage has just finished it off, it can come for some real surprise plays at the end of a game. But yeah, that covers the deck. I haven't really gone for a side yet. I'm not sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm probably going to run stuff like Shadow Imprisoning Mirror, Light Imprisoning Mirror, and some other sort of stuff like maybe some more counter stuff. I'm probably going to put some Effect Veilers and Maxis. I was thinking of putting them in there, but I'm not sure what to take out in their place. I mean, Effect Veilers are quite important in a deck. I mean, I might just limit Shallow Grave to 2 and Book of Eclipse to 2 to bring in some Veilers. Maxis aren't so important here, but I think it might be helpful. But yeah, leave your comments below, and if you've liked it, I would like if you could leave a like, please favourite and share if you think the concept of the deck is interesting enough to warrant that. And yeah, thanks for watching everyone, and goodbye.